After a long, exhausting day at the clinic, I came home tired and alone, just hoping for a quiet moment, maybe a hug from my husband, maybe some peace. But the second I opened the door, something in me shattered. My breath caught, my hands shook, and I dropped to my knees at what I saw inside. The afternoon sun was casting long shadows through our living room windows, and I just stood there, frozen in the doorway. My medical bag slipped from my numb fingers, hitting the hardwood floor with a sound that seemed to echo forever. But neither of them heard it. They were too busy destroying everything I thought I knew about my life. My husband, Franklin, was sprawled across our cream-colored sectional, the one we'd picked out together on our second anniversary, his head thrown back in pleasure. And above him, moving with a practiced rhythm, was my sister, my own flesh and blood, Winter. The same sister who'd held my hand through medical school, who'd been my maid of honor, who'd cried with joy when Franklin proposed. Winter's auburn hair cascaded down her bare back like liquid fire, and for a moment that stretched into eternity, I just watched them. Moving together in our home, on our furniture, surrounded by our wedding photos that smiled down from the mantelpiece like silent witnesses to this devastation. The clinic had been brutal that day. 3 hours of holding Mrs. Marco's hand while she received news that would change her world forever. Another hour with the Hendricks family, watching their teenage son struggle with a diagnosis that would reshape their entire future. I'd come home drained, emotionally spent, craving nothing more than Franklin's arms around me and maybe some of Winter's terrible jokes to lighten the mood. "Dad, I found this." Franklin's wedding ring caught the light as his hands gripped Winter's waist. The same hands that had held me through my mother's funeral just 6 months ago. The same hands that had traced my face this morning while whispering promises about our upcoming anniversary trip to Paris. That's when Winter turned her head, and our eyes met. Time stopped. The world tilted on its axis. Her face went white as fresh snow, then flushed crimson. Franklin followed her gaze, and I watched the blood drain from his features as he saw me standing there like a ghost in my own home. "Matilda." Winter's voice came out as a broken whisper, but I didn't speak. Couldn't speak. The words were trapped somewhere deep in my chest, tangled up with the pieces of my heart that were currently scattered across our Persian rug. I simply turned around and walked back through the door I'd just entered, my legs moving on autopilot while my mind reeled. Behind me, I heard frantic scrambling, Winter calling my name, Franklin cursing as he apparently fell off the couch. But I kept walking. Down our cobblestone path, past the rose bushes Franklin had planted for me last spring, past the mailbox with our names painted in cheerful yellow letters, Mr. and Mrs. Franklin Harrison. I walked until I reached my car, slid behind the wheel, and drove. I didn't know where. I just drove through our quiet suburban neighborhood with its perfect lawns and white picket fences, past the elementary school where children played on swings, past the coffee shop where Franklin